With this context established, let's examine our first chronological case from 1963, an encounter reported by one of America's original Mercury astronauts during the height of the space race. Gordon Cooper's experience stands out for both the unusual nature of what he observed and the multiple forms of evidence that supported his observation. Gordon Cooper's 1963 Green Visitor, May 15, 1963. The Mercury Atlas 9 mission launches from Cape Canaveral, carrying astronaut Gordon Cooper into orbit. Cooper was one of the original Mercury 7, the first American astronaut selected in 1959. Before NASA, Cooper served as a fighter pilot in the United States Air Force, where he earned a reputation for precision, attention to detail, and by-the-book flying. His colleagues described him as methodical and technically meticulous, someone who reported facts exactly as he observed them without embellishment. The mission, designated Faith 7, required Cooper to remain in orbit for over 34 hours, completing 22 orbits around Earth, the longest American space mission at that time and the final Mercury program flight. Cooper's primary task involved assessing extended space flight's effects on the human body, gathering crucial data for the upcoming Gemini and Apollo programs. He also conducted scientific experiments, tracking a 6-inch xenon-equipped sphere and deploying a fluorescent orange Mylar balloon to measure orbital gravitational differences. Cooper piloted the cramped Mercury capsule completely alone. Unlike modern spacecraft with sophisticated computers, his capsule demanded constant manual monitoring. He managed life support systems, flight controls, and experimental equipment while battling isolation in the void of space. The mission's technical demands tested every aspect of his training and focus. During one of his orbits, Cooper's concentration shifted when his radar detected an anomalous object. This unexpected reading wasn't part of any mission plan or scheduled satellite encounter. The radar showed something substantial approaching his spacecraft something, returning a clear signature on his instruments. Cooper then visually confirmed what the radar had detected, observing a greenish object through the spacecraft's window that matched the position indicated by his instruments. He noted its metallic appearance and that it was larger than typical space debris. According to his later accounts, the object moved deliberately, approaching his spacecraft before moving away again. Drawing on his test pilot training, Cooper documented specific details, the object's color, approximate size, and movement patterns that suggested controlled flight rather than the predictable trajectory of orbital debris. The object maintained a consistent distance for a period before eventually moving away and disappearing from both visual observation and radar tracking. The dual confirmation through both human observation and mechanical instrumentation elevates Cooper's sighting above many other reports. The radar verification provides independent confirmation that something physical was present, eliminating explanations like optical illusions or misidentification of known phenomena. Radar systems operate by sending radio waves that bounce off solid objects and return to the receiver. The time delay and signal characteristics reveal information about an object's size, distance, and velocity. For Cooper's radar to detect this object, it had to be a solid physical entity of sufficient size to reflect radio waves, ruling out explanations like ice crystals or minor debris too small to register on the relatively primitive 1960s radar systems. Years after NASA, Cooper revealed a similar encounter from his time at Edwards Air Force Base in 1957. According to Cooper, professional cameraman filming an installation captured footage of a disc-shaped object that approached the dry lake bed, extended landing gear, and touched down before quickly departing. Cooper maintained that high-quality footage documented this event. In his autobiography, Leap of Faith, Cooper wrote, "I had a camera crew filming the installation when they spotted a saucer. They filmed it as it flew overhead, then hovered, extended 3 legs as landing gear, and slowly came down to land on a dry lake bed." He added, "These guys were all pro cameramen, so the picture quality was very good." Cooper claimed this footage went to Washington for analysis before disappearing into classified channels. While no public verification exists, Cooper maintained throughout his life that this incident occurred exactly as described. Cooper's Mercury mission sighting stands out for combining instrumental and visual confirmation during a solo mission where observation contamination wasn't possible. It came from someone whose career was built on accurate observation and precise reporting. and it occurred in Earth orbit, where the vacuum of space eliminates many potential explanations applicable to atmospheric sightings. The account comes from one of the most qualified observers possible, supported by radar data from a historical mission at the cutting edge of human space exploration. What happened afterward reveals much about NASA's handling of unexplained phenomena during the space race. Despite dual confirmation from visual observation and radar tracking, Cooper's sighting received minimal attention in official mission reports. This official response, or lack thereof, leads directly into questions about how NASA managed information about unexplained phenomena during this critical period of space exploration. The official response: silence and skepticism. What happened to Cooper's radar-confirmed sighting after he reported it? The official record tells an interesting story through what it doesn't say. NASA's documentation of the Mercury Atlas 9 mission contains no mention of Cooper's encounter with the green object. The mission transcript, technical debriefings, and public statements focus exclusively on the planned experiments, Cooper's physical condition, and spacecraft performance data. This absence is striking given the potential scientific significance of an unexplained object detected by both visual observation and spacecraft instrumentation. This omission wasn't unique to Cooper's experience. NASA's public approach to unexplained phenomena during the space race era followed a consistent pattern of minimization and redirection. When questioned about unusual sightings, NASA officials typically offered explanations involving known space phenomena, ice particles, spacecraft debris, or reflections from equipment. The agency's stance emphasized scientific orthodoxy and avoided any suggestion that astronauts had encountered truly unexplained objects. The space race represented a crucial battlefield in the Cold War, with each mission demonstrating American technological superiority over the Soviet Union. Any suggestion that American astronauts encounter phenomena beyond their understanding threatened the narrative of technological control. For Cooper personally, reporting an unexplained object meant risking his reputation in an environment where rational explanations were expected. As one of NASA's elite astronauts, he faced a profound dilemma: report something potentially significant to science, but face ridicule, or remain silent about an observation that might have important implications. Security considerations further complicated reporting. Military and intelligence agencies were investigating whether unexplained aerial phenomena might represent advanced Soviet technology. Unusual sightings in space could potentially reveal sensitive information about surveillance capabilities or tracking systems. This created an institutional culture where unusual observations were automatically classified. Despite NASA's official silence, Cooper remained remarkably consistent in his account over the decades. In interviews from the 1970s through the early 2000s, Cooper maintained the essential details of his experience: the radar detection, the visual confirmation, and the controlled movements of the object. The consistency of his testimony across multiple decades suggests he genuinely believed he had witnessed something significant enough to discuss it publicly. In his 2000 autobiography, Leap of Faith, Cooper directly addressed his space encounter, writing, "I had a camera crew filming the installation when they spotted a saucer. They filmed it as it flew overhead, then hovered, extended 3 legs as landing gear, and slowly came down to land on a dry lake bed." While this passage refers to his earlier Edwards Air Force Base sighting rather than his space mission, it demonstrates Cooper's willingness to document these experiences in his official memoir. Cooper's later public statements about incidents like Roswell complicated his credibility in the scientific community. In the 1990s and early 2000s, Cooper expressed his belief that the Roswell incident involved extraterrestrial technology that the government had concealed. These broader claims went beyond his personal observations, moving from first-hand testimony into speculation about classified information. This evolution in Cooper's statements created a challenge for evaluating his Mercury mission experience. Scientists could separate his first-hand, instrumented observation from his later assertions. However, for many in the public and media, these distinctions blurred, making it easier for skeptics to dismiss both. Other astronauts reported similar phenomena. James McDivitt, commander of Gemini 4, photographed an object he described as having a cylindrical shape with an antenna-like appendage. NASA suggested it was a Titan rocket stage, which McDivitt disputed. Frank Borman and James Lovell on Gemini 7 reported a bogey near their spacecraft, which NASA attributed to a section of their own rocket. What happens when our most qualified observers report something they cannot explain? These incidents reveal how NASA managed unexpected observations during the early space program. When experienced astronauts reported something they couldn't identify, the agency typically provided conventional explanations or omitted the incidents from official documentation. The handling of Cooper's sighting fits within a broader historical pattern of institutional reluctance to publicly engage with unexplained phenomena. This reluctance reflected complex priorities, maintaining scientific credibility, managing Cold War messaging, and avoiding topics that might distract from mission achievements. Cooper's experience reveals something important about how institutions manage information that challenges prevailing paradigms, even from trusted sources. His radar-confirmed sighting was precisely the type of observation that warranted scientific investigation. It involved multiple detection methods, was observed by a qualified witness, and occurred in controlled conditions. Yet the institutional response was to minimize its significance. This pattern of reluctance continued long after Cooper's mission. As we move to our next case from 1981, we see how another qualified observer, this time from the Soviet space program, encountered something that seemed to defy conventional physics, and how the different institutional context of the Soviet space program led to a markedly different approach to documenting the experience. Cosmonaut Kovalyanov's impossible physics.